I'm Dan Galusha and welcome to another edition of Shoot N Plink. Today we're going to start a new chapter in Shoot N Plink. We're going to add something, knife throwing. Now, no, this is not going to be a thing of where I'm going to be showing you all sorts of fancy trick shots and all that sort of stuff. We're actually going to be doing the same thing that we do with the shooting. We talk about different knife models, and so we're going to have different videos for each different one. But today I'm going to be talking to, and it's pretty much every time, I'm going to be talking to the folks that are just wanting to get into the sport. Not somebody that is like Adam Saladin, the world champion, who can do everything, even riding on skateboards and throwing knives. We're not doing any of that. Leave it to those guys. Those guys are the ones that are really the experts on this. I'm just going to be talking to you about doing it economically and just like I do with the shooting. That's what we're going to do. And what today we're going to do, we're not going to really be doing any throwing. We're going to be showing you some of the knives that I use and which ones perhaps that I select for starting with. And we're going to get into our Plano case here that I've got. And oh yeah, by the way, I've got these too. Now these are for fishing. These are called fish monkey gloves. And this is ones with the full fingers and this is ones with the half fingers. Those work real nice for knife throwing, especially if you got hands like mine that gets the doggone cold. They get cold even in 60-degree weather. So something like this also, if it's wet, and I mean it is wet, we've been having tons of rain, your knife, if you ricochet or whatever, it's going to get wet, it's going to get muddy. These will help you grip it a little bit better. And just wanted to bring that up. Like I said, they're called Fish Monkey. Very, very nice gloves. They're also UV protected. Now, let's get to some knives. The first one I started throwing by mistake, just for the heck of it. It was a miniature machete. It's a Blackie Collins, and it is what you would call blade heavy. I mean, this is really blade heavy because your handle's way back here. But it throws good and it sticks good, and I have had some very good luck with this. But that's one of them. And those you just get on single. Most of the time, I'll bring that up right now, most of the time you buy your throwing knives in sets of 3. So that's why I'm going to talk to you about the next one, because cold steel knives you do not have to. And these knives, by the way, these are all ones that I've purchased. Basically I've got them from Amazon, Cold Steel, directly from Cold Steel. Also a place called Knife Country USA and Bud K Knives. I think that's the places that I've got them all. And I always look for my best deal. Make sure you look for your best deal. Now, here are the ones that I suggest that you actually start with. These are called mini flights. These are a cold steel knife. You see it? This is what I've started with. I really, really like this. I like the balance. I like the size, the length of them. They're good for no spin, which is like this. They're good for half spin, which you take it like this. We'll get into this later. And it's good for full spin, where you can choke up or bring it down here and throw. And again, we'll get into all that later. And the sheath, these are cold steel, like I said. You can buy these individually. That's what makes it nice. If you're just starting and you're not too sure you want to get into it, you can buy one of these individually. And then I got the case later, and I've got 2 sets of these. I've got this one, which I've bought 4, and then I've also bought the ones that they call Sureflight, which are 12-inch knives. These are the 10-inch. These I'm saving till last to tell you about. Now, some of the others. That's the 12-inch, by the way. We're not going to go into that because you've already seen the basic design of them. Here are the Gill Hibden knives, which you're going to hear a lot about. And they're not too bad of a knife. They're real good for your no spin, like that, and your half spin. And these holes, we'll talk about that later, how you're going to use those. But I'm just right now, I'm just going through these knives to let you know what the different ones are. These are charades. I don't remember exactly what they're called. They're not my favorite. They stick, yes, but there's a few problems. We'll talk about that when we actually review them. Another Hibben design. These are the Pro X. I do like these. They're very nice for everything. Sets of 3. These are what they call right edge. You can see it right on it, right edge. They're stainless steel. All the knives pretty much I've got are stainless steel, except for those Schrade ones that you had. I don't think those are, and I know that the cold steel isn't. Those are carbon, but they're good. This is another Hibben. You can see what happens. They do have a paracord wrapping. These no longer have them. You throw them tight and they're very, very sharp on this. So there's certain things you want to watch for when you're throwing something like this. Again, that will be in the review on those. These were a surprise. Got these cheaper from the Knife Country that I was telling you about. Very, very good no spin throwers. There's not much fanciness to them, that's for sure, but they work pretty good. Now we get to what we call the kunes. This is the big kune. This is the 12-inch one that I've got. Look at that thing. Don't start with those. These, yes, they'll throw, they will stick. They'll stick in about anything, including you. In fact, one of these 12-inch ones ended up sticking right into my leg. That's what can happen. I threw it, it bounced straight back, and it right into my leg. No, I didn't go to the hospital or anything, but it sure felt like a bee sting, I'll guarantee you, and I bled a little bit. Here's some. I got these just for the heck of it. They're a very cheap knife. They're called Arachnophobia. Spider on them. Very, very light. There's not much to them. I think they're about 2 ounces. Eventually we'll get out my notes. That's another thing. You want to take notes on every time you throw as to what you do for each one, and then we'll talk about that in another video. But no, I'm not overly impressed with these. They do stick, but again, they're a kune design. And the last kune is only 1 ounce. You get a ton of them. There's 12 of them in a set like this. You can see right there. Very short, 6.5 inches. Will they throw? Yes. Will they stick? Yes, definitely stick. Are they good for long distance? Believe it or not, I've thrown this one probably further than any of them, but I think that was just an off chance type thing. Now, I said I was saving the ones till last. And all of these, you can find these on sale a lot, but not what I'm going to show you now. There are custom knives, and that's what these are. They're made in Russia by a company called Lefux. You can see right here, Lefux. These are what I say look like they're designed with all the other ideas into one, which makes it a great knife. Not cheap. By the time you get them here into the United States, they're probably going to run you about $190 for the set of the 3. Now, they do have a very good point. I'll show you this up close because I want you to see this. It has a very good wide tang in the back for you to use it. You can use it this way or this way for no spin. You can spin through it. You got your holes here, which I like these holes again because I can feel where I want to throw it. In other words, see that end hole? When I'm throwing at 10 feet, because that's another thing. When you throw, you can see too how sharp this point is. So it's going to stick, and also this is not sharp. And that's what's good. And we'll go into that later. We'll go into that when we start reviewing these. But like I said, what you're throwing at is basically the footages are 7, 10, 13, and 16 feet. That's most competition. And so same thing if you're throwing otherwise. But when you first start at the distance that feels best to you, and then move back. And then start the different techniques that we're going to talk about. We're also going to be talking in another one more about how to set up what you're going to be throwing at. You do need to know that it needs to be a soft wood. Two of the best woods are cottonwood and pine. Both of those are good. If you can get a big round, you know, like these, sliced, those make great targets, and that's what I've got. I've got a round of cottonwood, big cottonwood, and that's what I've been using lately. I've used other things too. If you can find some scrap pine lumber, that's great too. You can build something out of that. Just make sure it's soft wood. Don't be throwing at a round of ash. Now, yes, the kunes will stick in just about anything, and it will stick in the ash. But a lot of them are going to bounce out. They're going to ricochet, and you're going to get a lot of clanging. I guarantee you, when you first start, you're going to be bing, bing, and you're going to start getting frustrated. Just slow down, concentrate. When you throw, just don't pick up the knife and go, phew. Once you really get onto that, you might be able to. But the best thing is when you look at that target, you concentrate. And the first thing to do is stick it. Don't worry about hitting the bullseye. Just make sure you're hitting the target altogether. And then start concentrating more on your accuracy once you get down to it. Like I said, this is going to be a new part of Shoot N Plink. It's not going to be everything about Shoot N Plink. And you know, I was trying to figure, and might have a maximum of 15 videos. I don't know, because we're going to talk about ways to throw them, and we're going to be reviewing each different knife, and that's when you're probably going to be learning how to throw them. So again, these Lefux, would they be good for a beginner? Yes, they would be. Price wise, no, they wouldn't be. But if you're really wanting to get into them seriously, then get you a set of these, because they are going to be very nice knives. And you can get them on Facebook, by the way, because that is the way that Ivan is taking the orders for them. Otherwise, as I mentioned before, go to Cold Steel and buy a single SureFlight or mini flight knife, and then try that, because then you're going to know if you really like these. And once you get onto it, then maybe you want to go to something like this, or you want to go to some of these others that we're going to be talking about down the line. I got about 12-13 different models, so we are going to be talking about them all. So until next time, shoot safe and have a great day of plinking.